It's Tuesday. We're going into week 6, and we have our first coaching firing of the year. And the New England Patriots are making a quarterback switch. Let's discuss it. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back into DaBearsDen, an NFL podcast with the Chicago Bears First Focus. I'm your host, Alex, and it is Tuesday, October 8th. We're going into week 6, and we have our first coaching firing of the season, one that many of us probably expected to happen at some point during the season. I don't think any of us expected it to happen in week 5. Look, the Jets this year are in an all-out, or all-in season trying to make the playoffs. They gave up a ton to get Aaron Rodgers and bring in different players and to try and make a run. And Robert Saleh has been fired. And this coaching firings always bother me in the aspect that it's a person losing their job, right? And I always see people celebrating it online, and I've been there. I get it, right? Like when Matt Nagy was fired, I was very happy because I was unhappy with the job that he was doing. But I do truly feel bad for Robert Saleh because I think that his time in New York it's just a dysfunctional organization having no clue how to handle a good coach. We saw what he did in San Francisco. We saw how impactful his defense was, how dominant his defense was, and how he was a fantastic players coach. The players in San Francisco loved him. When you take a head coaching job with the New York Jets and they have Zach Wilson and the quarterback play is just atrocious and the roster's not great. There's only so much that the coaching can do, right? There's only so much that Robert Saleh himself can do. Then last year, obviously, they go out, they trade a bunch of assets to get Aaron Rodgers, this future Hall of Fame quarterback who's had a ton of off-the-field issues in the back half of his career. And, unfortunately for the franchise, for the fans, for Rodgers, for Saleh, he tears his Achilles on the 4th snap of the season. No one's fault. It's just the way it is. It happens, right? Lost season. And they still ended up winning, I think, it was 7 games with really bad quarterback play, right? So pretty decent coaching job last season, in my opinion. And then this year, off to a rough start, and they fire Saleh. And this is typically what we see happen with a lot of organizations. There always needs to be a scapegoat, right? And with Aaron Rodgers, clearly there was some sort of tension between him and Saleh. They didn't get along, obviously. And we've known Rodgers to be this diva type quarterback for a while now. The way that he kind of thinks he owns whatever organization he's a part of, he thinks he can control everything. It's really just kind of disgusting, right? Especially when you look at the things that happened this offseason with him skipping minicamp to go to Egypt and kind of just the off the field distractions and the distraction with the team of I might run for vice president with RFK. I'm never going to be political on this channel. That's not my goal at all, but that is a distraction to the team when it's like, oh man, this quarterback that we traded a lot for could potentially stop playing to go become, a vice presidential candidate, right? That's a distraction. And he's skipping minicamp with a lot of young players, not being there, and then not playing in the preseason. So no wonder that this team is not performing at the level that people thought that they would. And Rodgers is by no means playing well. He has an 81.6 rating on the season. And what really is sickening to me is that this loss against Minnesota was a close loss. It was a one-score game against the only undefeated team in the NFC. And they didn't lose this game because of Robert Saleh. Aaron Rodgers had 3 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers had a pick 6, okay? That pick 6 is the difference maker in this game. But of course, they're not going to go after Aaron Rodgers because for some reason these front offices, ownership, they're scared to combat Aaron Rodgers to put him in his place. And so they're going to just scapegoat Robert Saleh because it's the easy thing to do. And it's sickening, and I feel bad for the guy. And, of course, he'll be fine. He's made millions of dollars. He will get another job somewhere else. But it's always like this, right? Like with Matt Nagy when he got fired from the Bears. It wasn't, oh, the team is playing horrible, so let's just scapegoat the coach. It was, the team's playing horrible. They've made bad roster decisions. There's a lot of bad penalties. They are poorly coached. People like Javon Wims are fighting other guys on the field, and so on and so forth. And it was evident that he had lost the team. This is week 5 of the real first season with Aaron Rodgers. And he's just, it honestly just, it sucks. It's sickening, right? He's got 7 touchdowns, 4 picks on the season, 81 rating. He had a 54.9 rating this past weekend against Minnesota. So let's blame the coach. Let's blame the coach that the 40-year-old quarterback is playing like trash. 53% completion percentage that game, too. 57 the week before against Denver. In a game with a rookie quarterback who threw for only 60 yards. Right? Like, when you look at, if we look at the Jets' schedule and the games that they've played so far this year, and we look at the points they've given up, obviously week 1 was a rough one, right? But we kind of can write it off because it's no preseason, right? They gave up 32 points. Week 2, 17 points. Week 3, they gave up 3 points. Week 4, they gave up 10 points, and then they only gave up 23 points this week against an undefeated team. Saleh's doing well with the defense. He's doing what he was brought in for. And now he's gone because the quarterback wants him gone. And now they play Buffalo. Then they've got Pittsburgh, New England, Houston, Arizona. Like this, I don't actively root against a lot of teams in the league, right? I'll root against Green Bay, I'll root against Minnesota, I'll root against Detroit because they're in my division. But I really hope that the New York Jets don't win another game this year. Because I'm so tired of this Aaron Rodgers, just this game. I'm so tired of it. The way that he can control these franchises and manipulate these franchises and act like he's some sort of god when he hasn't thrown for 300 passing yards in like 26 straight games or something like that. It's sickening. I feel bad for Robert Saleh, and I don't know. I guess this is what you get for trading for Aaron Rodgers, right? I don't know. On the other hand, other big news, Drake Maye is going to be the starter this week in New England. Exciting stuff, right? I know it's always nice seeing rookie quarterbacks come in and play. I think this is something that we all kind of expected, right? I expected that Jacoby Brissett was not going to be the starter for the entire season. I think that them listing it as we're not putting Drake Maye in because of our offensive line was a little bit, deceptive. I don't think I personally believed that, right? We knew that it was just kind of they wanted to have him sit for a little bit because the offensive line is still the same, and yet here he comes, right? Because they're not winning games. So we've seen this story before. We've seen it in Chicago. Andy Dalton's our starter. Mitch is our starter, and then they throw in Nick Foles and so on and so forth. So we see this all the time in the league. Going to be exciting to see what he can do. Obviously, Caleb, Jaden, and now Bo Nix are really kind of starting to find their footing. So we'll see what Drake Maye can do. Really excited because the Bears play New England in a couple weeks. So, Caleb's going to have a good test against Jaden Daniels in a couple weeks, and then he's going to have a good test against Drake Maye. So, but always fun watching young quarterbacks play. And I think that, he's sat for a couple weeks, and it'll be good for his development to kind of get in there and get some reps and play some games, because I don't think their season's lost, but clearly we're not going to be doing much with Jacoby Brissett in at quarterback. So I think now is a pretty decent time for them to kind of move to Drake Maye. With that being said, I appreciate you guys listening. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think the Jets are making a mistake firing Robert Saleh? Is it too early? Is it too late? Should they have done it earlier? Is this all just Aaron Rodgers kind of being the puppeteer and controlling all this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video. We are almost at 100 subscribers. I know we can get there. And I appreciate you guys listening. As always, bear down, and we will see you in tomorrow's video for the power rankings. Peace.